Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. How are you doing, Austin?
Doing great, Andrew. How about yourself?
Doing great. So today we'll do a little recap. Also, kind of let people know that moving forward, we're changing things around. We're going to have a new website look as well. So we're looking forward to feedback from that. But also, we will be changing the format around too. We're announcing a partnership very soon. And we're going to change around some of the shows and dates and the availability of things. So more to come, but I think today is kind of our test day for shifting towards this day will be more of an FAQ for people. So if they have specific questions and they want to have a bit of a chat about maybe a stock ahead of time, they can send us one if it's in the space and we know something about it, or ones that we're covering to have a bit more question and answer for people. And that will be live on YouTube, but then behind our website, kind of in private for subscribers, and they can replay it anytime they want. But we're starting to shift away from having all this free stuff out there. We'll have one free day. We'll have one that we have a partnership with, and then we'll have this one will be specifically for our subscribers where we can have a bit more of a conversation.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really cool shift as we head into November. And like you mentioned, we'll announce more kind of on the partnership that we're working on. That'll take up the Wednesday shows. Our Monday shows are going to be kind of classic, what people are used to. We're going to recap news on the companies we follow, provide interesting updates, talk about some other interesting stories and stuff like that. And then, yeah, exactly. The Friday show is going to be more of an FAQ, more of us getting to talk about the stories that really kind of mattered us, the general themes and things like that. And specifically for subscribers to kind of give a bit of a bigger incentive to the people who actually follow along and engage with us. We get great emails and contacts from people who watch the show and tune in. So encouraging them to engage in the show, engage with us, and a little bit of a reward for being an actual follower of Supercharged Stocks.
Yeah, and that's key because we are moving more towards the people that we've been working with. And we can have a bit more of a conversation in that area and space than I would be as free speaking as I am in regard anyway. So it'll be just more of more of an engagement with people that are really interested. And once again, it's free still. I mean, that's which is great. It's just you have to take the first step to become part of the charge. You're interested enough. So that's coming, but that's really exciting. And today, I mean, there's so much going on, but I wanted to touch on one subject, and we'll keep this short too, although it's not a short conversation. But big news, and really, if you're going to be talking about like what's happening right now, like what's going on in the world, then there's a few names you're going to have to know, and we mention them all the time. BlackRock is at the top of that food chain. They're almost 10 trillion now. So they're up a couple trillion. They manage money for the Fed. So this is the level of power that this fund has, and that's Larry Fink. He's come out and he's agreed with Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan that he sees Bitcoin as worthless, but he does see opportunity in blockchain. That's going to make a lot of people pretty upset, and rightfully so. I'll just put a little context as to BlackRock again. They are like kind of main partners with World Economic Forum. So those of you who don't believe there is a thing called World Economic Forum or any of the things that they forecast or promote or the changes in the world that they want to see happen, they work side by side with BlackRock and Larry Fink specifically, who is a contributing editor for them and writer for them. So this is big money with big power telling you what they're going to do, whether you want to look at it or not, and you have to pay attention. It doesn't mean they're going to be right. It doesn't mean that that's exactly how things are going. But if you've got 10 trillion, you've got a big stick you can hit people with.
Yeah, you've certainly got a lot of ammunition when you have that kind of cash in the bank behind you. And it's interesting to see kind of another big name in the top end of finance coming out and saying this approach and this take to Bitcoin. And I think that comes from an understanding, and it's something that we've talked about a lot, is that you're never going to get a truly unregulated, decentralized cryptocurrency. It's not going to happen. No. Now, that's not me coming out and saying there isn't tons of opportunity in the crypto space right now if you want to make money, because there's lots of exciting opportunities down that pathway. But you have to understand that this is the direction that it's going. When the smart people follow the money, and money talks, and this is money talking, and talking very loudly about the real future of Bitcoin, but also kind of hinting on, no, but there is opportunities in cryptocurrency that are there. We'll see what those materialize to be. We know what that will probably end up looking like. But yeah, very very interesting and noteworthy to see him come out and kind of back up that same claim.
Yeah, and it's a bold statement. I mean, they'd hinted that they're playing in the crypto market, but once again, I don't think there's any surprise here. So those who love the concept of decentralized type of product, the Winklevoss twins, who are main Bitcoin people, they're actively saying they want a regulated Bitcoin. They want this to be an investment banking tool because they understand that world and they understand it and they want it to be regulated. Of course, there is a vast majority of people that do not want that. They want this thing to remain outside of the clutches of those currently in power. Our kind of thesis has been there'll be that market there, but it'll never be. They'll never allow it to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't believe that it will. It doesn't mean that there won't be Bitcoin, that it might even trade at the same price. There'll be a market in it for sure, but you're going to see the digital coins coming from all the governments, and how those are set up, we shall see. But we can see South Africa already setting up that they're going to set their coin off of gold and precious metals. That's what we kind of hoped we'd see, a commodity-backed one that has actual value. A fiat currency type thing is great for periods of time, but it's run its course. You can't just endlessly print money. Even though I would say most people right now would be begging and hoping that the Fed just continues printing money, because it's causing some problems right now to not do that. But they've played every kind of tool that they've got. They don't have a lot of ammo left. So this is a good hint, I think, as well, from these guys to let the people know we're looking in this space, we're paying attention to it, we're telling you we don't think it's this. And once again, their motivation is they want regulations. They're the ones who make them. So they are going to make it as onerous as possible, and they're just not going to give up power. And that's kind of been all of my kind of take on this was, doesn't matter if the technology is good, better, this, that. When Betamax first came out, people will remember old VHS versus Beta. Beta was way better than VHS, technologically speaking, way better. But they had bad marketing. So this is what can happen. It doesn't matter if something's better. It's whatever one's going to work. And that means those in power who have say, and believe me, BlackRock has some say. I think they're on the board of I think, I don't not even say the percentage, but it's a vast majority of your top 500 companies. They've got people sitting on the board, and they will actively say to people, if you go against us, that person on the board reports back as an advisor to BlackRock. They'll either pull funding or they'll motivate you in some other way to do what they want to have done. This is what money can buy, and this is what this kind of level of power can buy. So I never discredit what they're saying. Once again, why would I go against that flow? It's a tough call. So does that mean that the Bitcoin's that it should go down or drop, or you should sell it? No, not necessarily. There's a place for it. It's just enter with extreme caution. A lot of these things, especially if you've made a ton of money in it.
Yeah, that's the key to it, is especially if you've been very successful in crypto, you probably understand kind of this blueprint and exactly the path that we've just laid out. And I mean, there's some people who just are fully invested in the idea that, no, this is a long-term viable solution, and it very well might end up being that. I doubt it, but there's a chance that it could be. I also find it very interesting that you're getting this increased talk on the Bitcoin front, and an interesting couple of last days in crypto trading in general, following the Fed and the IRS's announcement in the US that they're going to be able to look into any bank account that has more than $600 in it. It's an interesting shift and pivot from them. They claim it's not a motivation to spy on the pocketbooks of the average American people, but it's going to help them, crack down tighter on billionaires and the top 1%.
Yeah, as if,
I'm very skeptical. Let's say that is the actual intention. We're going to be getting some new tax regulations here in Canada announced at the end of November as well, which I'm sure will follow suit to the ones that are being rolled out in the States. But I do find the timing of it very interesting, that you kind of have all of this coinciding all together. And
they're setting it up. They're just setting it up, just like everything else in the last couple of years. They set it up, push the bar a bit further, push it a bit further, push it a bit further, so that someone says, I mean, even years ago, someone would say, oh, this World Economic Forum thing isn't real. There's nothing there. And I would tell people, just go to their website. You don't have, never believe just what I'm saying. I'll give you the website. Go look at it. Go look at this UN resolution. Go read it. It's there. It's right there. Now people, you can't really find anyone that would say it doesn't exist. They would know that it exists now. They have to admit it now. But one thing too to keep in mind is this is the same crew that's been spying on people years ago that implemented, spying on the partners in Germany, their own citizens. So this is 100% the step towards a digital currency, a digital platform in which they'll watch every coin you spend on anything. And yes, it's hard to get away with tax evasion from that, but really, is the biggest tax evasion person coming in at $600? Like, you need to track what you're spending $600 on. Like, come on. Like, it would be, we're looking at people with 10 million plus. And then we're going to follow all those transactions. I'd go, oh, okay. You really are going after billionaires. But no, this is obviously not for that. And it's an overreach of epic proportions. It's not a small deal. But it is. We're all edging towards this complete authoritarian kind of regime. And once again, the same people that would say, oh, I don't mind. I'm not doing anything wrong. They can do it if they want. Is not the type of person that I have any interest in engaging in conversation with, because they haven't thought that process through. They think, well, everything is progressive and going my way right now. It's all like, I believe in these people. Once you set up that machine that works that way, you're not always going to have your political party in power forever. It could swing a very bad way the other way very quickly, and they then have that tool to use against you. So people keep on thinking, well, I'm getting things my way, I'm okay. It'll never change. We're progressing. That's a very poor understanding of history, and they don't realize that sooner or later, like all things in life, things do change, and the pendulum swings from one to the other, and you might find a group in there who has access to this kind of technology that you don't like so much, and your life will change very quickly on a heartbeat. So, bit of a lecture, but it's something to be concerned of. And this is, the balance between this future that we all want to see, where we have some interconnectedness and we're able to have our own data and share it, compared to, is this just a government demanding that they're going to be the solution for all of our problems? Which I say, we've seen that happen throughout history, and the utter failure that it's caused. Anyway,
it typically doesn't go well.
Never goes well. I mean, you can look at Venezuela very quickly, and that's a pretty good indication. Although they did take those 6 zeros off 2 weeks ago, so their currency is.
That was really. I'm consider with all the Venezuelan pesos that I'm holding in my offshore accounts. That really helped me that they were dialing it back in. Yeah. Oh my goodness. We'll quickly. We're closing in on 15 minutes here, Andrew. So we'll quickly touch on a couple of updates for companies heading into the weekend. One thing that caught my eye that I know you'll be keen on as well, because you'll be talking to him next week. Morgan Lekstrom, president of formerly Lakewood Resources, now Silverhammer Mining. Yes. He has taken over the role as CEO as well. Big step for Morgan. Awesome to see him. He's in a great leadership position. He's done a great job in his role as president. Taking more of the reins there with Silverhammer. Really excited to see that.
Yes, very interesting. Also, we're going to be talking with K9 again. Now, there were some good results out of newfound gold in Newfoundland just this morning. I don't have that press release, but I just caught it the last minute. But you can look it up. Very interesting. We'll have K9 on. They're in that kind of same zone. We've had them on before. that's coming up next week. We are also going to have on Argentina Lithium, which I think we spoke to them about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and they're over double. They're sitting at 50 cents right now. So they have had a lot of interest. There was actually an article in Al Jazeera about Argentina Lithium, like not the company, but lithium in Argentina being a major player. Yeah. So there's places in the world recognizing we need to look to see other places in the world where we can get lithium. Because obviously the critical need, everyone understands why we need lithium for all of these electric batteries. So very interesting. It's certainly catching a lot of attention whenever some of our other big favorites, despite news, say something like Goliath is down below 80 cents for no reason, with no news. And the only news that is out there is fairly optimistic. So it's a very strange time, but it's nice to see this some of these other areas that are facilitating this future really looking strong.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to mention here that Jess reached out to ask about Rivian. Yeah, so Rivian, the electric truck. Yeah, so they're going to go public. Yeah, Rivian, I don't know enough about, like, there's Neo, there's Rivian, there's Lucid, there's a bunch of other car manufacturers that are coming out. I don't follow a lot of them, to be perfectly honest, because I'm more interested in the parts that make the bigger machine. Will there be, I mean, they're all going to be electric cars in a matter of time. But I think those ones, like a Rivian and a Lucid and a Tesla, I mean, they're the big names. I mean, you hear about them. I haven't done any kind of research on them, so I won't make any comment. But I mean, hey, they're all cool. I mean, I've seen the look of the truck. It looks wild. But let me just leave that at that.
Yeah. And they are, I just took a look here for you, Jess. They are announcing their IPO will be coming very shortly. So that's an interesting one that I think Andrew and I will both take a little bit of a deeper look into and see what we can find out about. I was going to make one quick point when you had mentioned lithium there, Andrew, as well.
Yes.
Lithium's going to be a big player over the next little bit. We're going to hear a lot about it. And for anyone who's been paying attention to the supply chain issues, and especially if you're in the United Kingdom or Northern Europe, you've heard about it a lot. Starting to hear about it a lot in Canada and the United States as well. There's going to be a lot of big players over the next few months here. Lithium's going to be one of them, but I'd like people to pay attention to gas and natural gas in particular. NG Energy is a great one that has had an awesome little run lately. And also fertilizer prices, phosphate. We're hoping to get Brian Ostroff from Arion Phosphate back on in the next few weeks to get a little update from him on what he's seeing. But we're seeing massive price increases for phosphorus and fertilizer in general on that front to help combat the coming supply chain shortage.
The continued issues. Yes, it's just started.
So very important themes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
so very important for people to keep their eyes and ears kind of pinned to on that front as well.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Austin. Really appreciate it. Have a great weekend, everyone. All the best.
Yeah, we'll see you guys again on Monday. Take care, everybody.